Hello and welcome to the BTEC Sport Taster Session. My name is Mr. Cragg. I'm a PE teacher here at Bluecoat Aspley Academy, and I've been teaching on the BTEC at Bluecoat for the last 4 years. Depending on how the timetable shakes out next year, I may or may not be teaching you at Bluecoat Sixth Form, but all of our staff in our department are very experienced in it and really looking forward to meeting you, regardless of who it is. So I'll start with a little quote here from the Daily Telegraph, a newspaper in 2017, explaining how much the sports industry is booming right now. It's absolutely growing exponentially. So we need to make sure our young people are prepared for working in it, whether it's as athletes, as spectators, consuming the industry, or facilitating it. So some really, really exciting opportunities out there, and we want you to make the most of all of them. Here's some careers that it will lead straight into with a strong BTEC Sport and or a degree in sports science or the equivalent. There's some starting salaries there. So what does the level 3 BTEC Sport entail? So to start with, it's worth 2 A levels. So it's a big chunk of your timetable. It's nationally recognised by universities and employers as an equivalent to A levels. The students are to complete 720 guided learning hours. So it's about 10 hours a week on your timetable. And students must complete 10 units of work, and 3 of those are externally examined. So we'll have a look at what those are now. So 2 exam-based assessments in year 12 are Unit 1, Anatomy and Physiology, so studying the science behind how the body works. Unit 2, Fitness Training and Programming, so you become your own personal trainer and you learn how to test and plan for improving yours and someone else's fitness. And then coursework-based assessments in year 12 are professional development in the sports industry and sports leadership. Sports leadership is a fantastic one because, again, you get to be those coaches and you have practicals giving you that taster and that experience. The year 13 looks like this. There is 4 coursework modules and 1 examination. The exam I haven't highlighted there, but it's Unit 22, Investigating Business in Sport and the Active Leisure Industry. Unit 5 is Application of Fitness Testing. Unit 7 is Practical Sports Performance. Unit 10 is Sports Event Organisation, where you work in groups and you create your own sports event for young people at one of the other Bluecoat schools. And Skill Acquisition in Sport is Unit 23, where we study the brain and how we learn skills for the first time. Really fascinating stuff. So the course is based on Microsoft Teams. So some of you will have experience with that, some of you may not, depending on what your school has used previous to this. But we use Microsoft Teams to set, monitor, and mark assignments. It's really good in loads of ways because we get full visibility of your work throughout because it's all auto-saved through Word Online, PowerPoint Online, through Teams itself, through Class Notebook. So hopefully we never have to go back to teach you from home and us from home and things that have happened in this year just gone by. But if it were to happen, we'd be very well set up for it. But we're still going to be using this because it's way better than us setting you work and you go, oh, I forgot to print it off, or I'll email you later, sir, and you never do. Or likewise, you want to ask us something, you just ping it on the stream and we can answer it straight away. So the levels of communication are fantastic and the visibility of work is always there. How do we do as a department delivering this? Well, the results speak for themselves. In 2020, we finished with +1, which doesn't sound that impressive, but it actually means each student achieved 1 grade above their target, which we're very proud of. We've actually been the most successful vocational subject in the school for the last 3 years. Here's some quotes about how people see their post-16 experience. So when they come to Bluecoat for sixth form, some of them are A-level, some of them are BTEC. So there's a balance to be had there. If you're considering A-level as well, then please shoot us an email and we'll try and weigh up which one's right for you. But we can see here that some people think that BTEC was just a better fit for them. I was able to be creative rather than just remember things. And now I've got a place at a uni studying sports science. So things we do on the BTEC, we went on a cracking trip to Loughborough University in 2018. So all our qualification students came there and we did their fitness testing program. We had seminars from professional athletes and people talking about the lifestyle of a professional athlete and how it differs from that of a normal person. and we had tours and we had practical sessions, and it was fantastic. And we've also had trips to the University of Nottingham, rugby school, and anything you can think of that we could run a good trip for, we're more than happy to, because it's that hands-on experience that we feel makes BTEC a little bit different. Here's some leavers who have been successful in sports courses across the last year. That was 60% of our cohort from 2020 on A level and BTEC went on to study sport. So we can see we are preparing our learners for further study of PE at university level, and we're really very proud of that they still have that passion for sport even once they've left school. Things that we would expect from you to be a success in this course: a high level of attendance. Obviously, goes without saying, especially when you have 10 hours a week on your timetable. You've got to make sure that you are really committing to all of those. The ability to work independently into your deadlines. Imagination and creativity. We're not going to spoon feed you this. You need to think of good examples related to sports you've played and your experience of consuming and watching and playing sport across the years. Ability to work with others. Like I've said a couple of times, there's some of those assignments that are group-based. You're going to need to work really well as a team. However, you're going to need to be able to work alone as well. There's times when we're going to be in a computer suite and it's going to be knuckle down, really crack on with your work and avoid all distractions. You need to be fully committed to it. 700 hours guided learning hours isn't going to fly by. You need to be really, really on the ball if you're going to pick this course, because it's a big chunk of your timetable. We expect you to give up your own time to further your experiences. It's the above and beyond sort of people that we want picking this course, to be fair. So those people, they tend to volunteer for on sports days, come down and get work experience during their free periods, and all that bolsters your CV and sets you apart from those other people who are applying for the same courses at university, the same jobs. You'll be above and beyond, and you'll have given something else by giving up your time a little freer. You've got to accept feedback, because you're going to have to improve work, and you have to be able to work hard, which we hope that all sports people understand by the time you reach this level. So for more information on the BTEC generally, these are the two contacts you would need. So feel free to take these email addresses and shoot them an email if you need. Mr. Pickard is our esteemed leader. He is the head of the Faculty of Sports Science here at Bluecoat Aspley, and you'll see him in town at sixth form as well, teaching. And Mrs. Finn is the leader of not just BTEC in the Sports Science faculty, but at all of Bluecoat. So she's got a big job on making sure our BTECs are ratified and passed, because it's a fantastic qualification, and we hope to see as many of you on it as possible. So I'm now going to run through a few slides of a taster lesson for you to show you the sort of thing that you might be studying if you take this course. So this one is based on fitness training, programming for health, sport and well-being. And there's a little quiz at the end, so it'd be great if you could do that after having a look at the slides. So this would all be a distinction criteria, D1. That's the top level one. It goes pass, merit, distinction. And so distinction is worth an A at A level. So the physical fitnesses for our sporting life. If you've done GCSE or BTEC at level 2, a lot of these will sound very familiar to you. I'm not going to read all the definitions, but you can pause the screen if these things come up on your quiz. You can go back to the screencast and you can find these: aerobic endurance, strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, speed, and body composition. And these are generally regarded as health-related physical fitnesses. And then these ones are skill-related fitnesses: agility, balance, coordination, reaction time, and power. So using your brain and your body in conjunction to create a positive outcome. And the definitions, I'll just leave those. And again, you can rewind if you need to find those for your quiz slide. And then D2 looks at the training methods required to improve your aerobic endurance. So continuous training, fartlek training, interval training, and circuit training. Okay, so understanding that training at a steady pace is very different to training at a high intensity than having a rest, like interval training, or training at varied terrains and intensities and speeds across a period of time, like fartlek training, or using different stations and to specialist equipment and moving around in a circuit, like circuit training is. And then Understanding there are types of flexibility. So there are two types of flexibility: static flexibility and dynamic flexibility. And understanding that the range of movement a joint can achieve is different when it's static and when it's moving. And that's the difference between static and dynamic flexibility. And static stretching and dynamic stretching are two types that can improve that. There's also proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, PNF. And then looking at our training threshold, so understanding using our methods of training like continuous, fartlek, and interval. Where might we be trying to keep our heart rate during all of this? So different intensities to achieve different outcomes based on your sport or your fitness desires, and the principle behind maximum heart rate, how long to train for, why we need to, because it's more oxygenated blood needed in all our muscles, and our heart and our lungs have to work harder to create that. So maximum heart rate can be calculated by 220 minus your age in years. And here's a table here explaining where your training zone would be, and what it's good for and how you get it there and what's happening to your body when you get there. So down from the warm up and the cool down zone at the bottom, where your maximum heart rate might be 50% of your 220 minus your age. So your working heart rate, it would be at 50%. All the way up to 80 to 100%, where you really can't do this intensity for long. Blood lactate levels increase. You can't flush that out because you haven't got enough oxygen in your blood, and you can do this for a very short amount of time. So there's the different training zones that we would look to target. So if you were to scan that QR code now, it would take you to a Microsoft form, and I want to see as many people do that as possible to show that you've engaged with this taster lesson, when unfortunately we can't be there with you today to deliver this in person. So it's just what we'd be doing in the classroom if you were with us on Tuesday the 13th. And we'll see your name will pop up on our Microsoft Forms analytics, and it'd be great to see if you to get full marks there. If I've gone through anything too quickly or it wasn't there on the slides, then feel free to do a little bit of flip learning and extend your knowledge and head to the internet to find the answers for those. But otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. Really enjoyed talking to you today, and we hope to see as many of you as possible in September. And thank you very much for engaging with our little taster lesson.